This one right there. Yo, what's up, people? What's happening? What is up? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead of the Mic podcast. It's your boy, IFBB PRO Matt Butali. And today we're going to be talking with a special guest. Okay, we got a special guest coming on. His name is Anthony. He is a nomad, a Natural Nomad Academy athlete, and he will be having his very first show in about a week, right? On the 1st of April. It's the Pure Muscle Classic. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait for you guys and girls to see what package we bring on that day, right? And right now he's working, he's currently grinding to get there. We're like in the matter of days there, under the double digits, and he's in the pit. So in today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is pretty much what he's doing, how he got here, the level of difficulty that's required for anybody that if they want to ever, join their or compete at their very first amateur competition and join the CPA or the NPC and one day compete as an amateur with hopes to one day get the coveted IFBB Pro card like you can see on the back there if you're watching on the live stream. What's good? Yo, Anthony's in the house. I'm gonna invite him very shortly. Just making sure everything else is set up over here, and we're gonna chat. Okay, let me just send that invite to you, bro. All right. All right. So let me know if you see that invite to join, bro. All right. Yo, what's good, bro?
Yo, what's poppin'?
What's happening, man? I'm all right. How you doing, bro? How you doing?
All right, yo. As you know, I just woke up from a quick nap because the struggle is real.
Yeah, the struggle is real as fuck. Okay, guys. So we haven't started the podcast recording yet. We're going to be recording that very soon. I'll be giving you guys an introduction as to who the fuck is on the other side of the screen here, what he does, or at least what he's doing and what he's getting ready to do in the next coming days. All right. So with that said, with that out the way, we'll be recording today's podcast episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, IFBB Pro Matt Butali, coming at you with another topic, and today we're going to be bringing on one of Natural Nomad Academy's finest athletes who's doing his very first men's physique competition in the matter of days. His name is Anthony. He's a cop. He's currently serving the people and is sort of leaning towards his new calling in this life, which is, living a life that is more related to fitness and getting people to at least harness the strongest potential mental aspect in their brain to help them succeed individually, just in the gym and in their career and whatever the fuck it is that they do. He's going to explain it. He's going to tell you where he comes from, his background, his story, what he's going through for his very first competition at the Pure Muscle Classic in a couple of days. So if you are, one of those people that want to learn how to compete, never done it before, you're kind of afraid, you don't know what to expect, and you want the perspective from someone that's actually fucking doing it, this is the episode you need to pay attention to. Without ado, the one, the only, the legend, Anthony. He's pulling up. Anthony Gaggan, welcome aboard. Let us know. Who the fuck are you? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Honored to be on the Nomad Academy here, the Meathead on the Mic podcast with IFBB Pro Matt Butali. Quick background shout out. I was just full-time career police officer, Peel Region. Was always in the gym. I found the gym pretty much because throughout the years of my service, you see a lot of traumatic things like calls you go to, suicides, deaths, a lot of physical activity, stressing your body in a physical way releases these chemicals known as dopamine and serotonin. And those are the feel-good hormones in your body. So every time I would go there for an hour and a half, I would feel good afterwards. And then that's when my personality started changing. So pretty much my life in the gym made my life outside of the gym better. And I started to improve from the mental health aspect. So I started as a mental health, and then I started noticing physical changes. Once I started noticing physical changes, as all humans are wired psychologically, we have a reward system. Once we start to see results, we thrive off of that. We just want to do more. We want more. We want more. Right? It becomes addictive. That's when I got into bodybuilding. That's when I started learning about, training, nutrition, diet, structure, how to make myself look good. And it's as simple as this, man. Anyone who says they start the gym because they don't want to look good, that's a lie. We all want to look good. We all start off for that purpose. We want to look a certain way. It's when you start entrenching yourself into the culture of the gym and really pushing yourself past the mental limits, that's when it becomes more. So that's how I got into the gym, got into bodybuilding, and I wanted to test myself, push myself a little further. I wanted to compete. I wanted to be an athlete. And that's when I, reached out to you, joined the academy, and, with all your experience being a pro, starting off kind of in the same way, working your way up. Knowledge is power, right? That's what I'm feeling.
You got it. You got it, man. Definitely, you got it. That's well said. I completely agree with you, man. I remember meeting you in the gym way back, actually. It was a few years ago for the first time. I think it was at a Crunch Fitness. Like, you trained there, I trained there for a little bit. Then I went to Good Life, and I'd see you around at Good Life often. And I had no idea you didn't compete. You look like you have muscle already. You already had a nice frame. And so in the gym, I would have assumed that anybody that has a nice frame is at least aware of competition or is like competing. And it was surprising to me when you reached out and you decided to like make that commitment in the new year to hop on stage, because like I already saw the dedication manifested in some way, because you already had the body, and to get that body, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have already been like dedicated in some way. So it was a fun challenge for me, and I'm super glad that you trusted me to take you along this journey and welcome you to your very first show. And again, just as you already figured out, every single show is an improvement. Every single show gets better. You always beat technically the previous version of your showing. Even if you were first place last time, you got to be a better first place next time, right? In order to maintain that level of that progress or that success, right? Which I was able to replicate in my competition stream, and I hope that you get to replicate as well, so long as you remain dedicated. So I'm not really fucking worried at all, because I know that you're going to remain on the ball and looking at the next goal. All right. So it's easy to look at the next goal. It's easy to focus on like what's next in terms of, competing for the first time, or, say you compete for the first time and then we qualify for nationals. And then it's like, okay, well, the nationals, and then you get to nationals, and then the thing is pro card. And so like, there's always this next goal, right? And it can be motivating you, when you're pushing yourself to like compete. But let's say you're in the off season and you're not really prepping. What are some things that keep you pushing during the hard times? What are some things that, when you completely remove the pleasure of what you're getting from bodybuilding, like if you remove the pleasure, what keeps you going back to bodybuilding during the hard times? Like when you're mentally not motivated, when you're tired, when your body's just not responding as well, like what keeps you coming back?
So pretty much if there's no, real end goal, like you said, like towards a prep or like winning a show or qualifying for, the next level, what keeps coming me back is the way it makes me feel, right? It makes me feel good. Like working out makes me feel good. So even though I don't have a specific end goal, it becomes a part of a routine. And I think structure is so important. So if you make working out a part of your structure and routine, it becomes second nature. So even though I don't feel like doing it, I know I have to do it. Right? So it's just more so like it's a more so you're not overthinking it. It's like people when they wake up, right? Like your condition, like what's the first thing you do? You wake up, you brush your teeth. No one thinks about why I have to brush my teeth. Do I need to clean teeth? Do I need to clean mouth? Like, do I want to? Am I gonna get like gingivitis? Well, no one thinks about that stuff. You just wake up and you do it. It's just a natural instinct. So for me, it's become at that point. It's just a natural instinct to just start my day off and get my workout in, make me feel good, just keep pushing.
Awesome. No, I hear you, man. And it's you're lucky. I think that, people like us are kind of lucky where we get to almost have it as a reflex, you know, the ability to go to the gym, to eat well and all that stuff. So we don't really think about it. And that's, I guess, the best way to put it. If you guys and girls find dieting hard or training hard, for bodybuilders, they don't find it hard because they love it. And the reason why they love it is because they do it so much that it's like a reflex. And like you have the potential ability to do that too. Maybe not to the degree of a bodybuilder, but definitely enough to make it so that eating healthy and training isn't something that is impossible for you to maintain for the rest of your life, right? But that's the reason why I asked that question is because I wanted to see, like, if for amateur competitors or just competitors in general, they have a different mindset when it comes to I guess pushing through hard times, right? Where one of them is pushing through the hard time, the person that's struggling to go to the gym because they're going through hard times, and then the person that has hard times as well but is going to the gym, it's like they're not pushing through because that's not something that is like difficult in a sense. It's just mandatory. It's like a reflex. So I like the fact that you've developed so much consistency and dedication that it's become a reflex for you, and that it hard times or not, nothing really affects you because you do it regardless, right? As you said, you brush your teeth every day, right? So I like that. The next thing I want to ask you, Anthony, is what are some of your biggest fears with competing that you think other people that are competing for their very first time might also be afraid of?
Intimidation factor. You're stepping on the stage with athletes that have done this before. You're competing against other people that have maybe more experience than you, that look better than you, that have more resources than you. So for me, for this specific show, for anyone who's watching, Pure Muscle Fitness is probably right now the best gym in all of Canada. It's like the most well-known gym. It's not just a regular gym with recreational people that go to stay healthy. It's an actual bodybuilding gym. The majority of people that go there compete, okay? Yeah. And there's a huge difference from when you step into a gym setting and you look around to the average gym goer versus competitors.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge difference from their demeanor, the way they train, how serious it is, the etiquette. Just everyone wants to be in that setting because it makes everything that much better, right? It's like going from living in the ghetto to like the freaking suburbs, right? Like it's just completely different. So the biggest thing for me specifically right now would probably be just being intimidated by all these guys and girls who actually have competed before, who actually have a lot more resources, whether it be money, whether it be social status, fame. Like a lot of these people, if you sneak peeks of people compete, man, they got like a shit ton of followers. They're already like trainers themselves. They've already competed in previous competitions. So it's like, do I even have a chance? But sometimes you ask myself, man, it's like throughout the weeks, like, do I even have a chance? Do I even am I good enough? But when I keep telling myself, and through our conversations too, what you told me is just like, tunnel vision, one thing at a time. It's not going to be my last one. So feel it out, see how I do. Leave no stone unturned, so that way, even if I do lose or even have the placing is not even matterable to me right now. It's the fact that I left no stone unturned. I'm proud of myself that I started and finished what I started, and then we just go back to the drawing board from there. Take it one step at a time.
There we go. And listening to like sound like too optimistic or like is going to win, like quality. Otherwise, wouldn't be fucking doing this, right? But the thing is this, and I'll tell you this with personal experience. Every single time I've opened my big fat mouth and started to boast about how much I'm going to dominate a show, or like how well I'm going to do, or where I think I'm going to place, like whether I think I'm being realistic or not, the worst always happens. The best thing to do is to have the desire to win and have that manifest through your actions by, as you are doing currently, leaving no stone unturned, right? And then you move forward with that. You'll have the internal confidence that comes from, repeating the processes over and over again and not missing. And again, leaving no stone unturned. So you'll develop your confidence from that. And you won't really talk about, oh, I'm going to go here and get first, or I'm going to go here and be top 3, or I'm going to go here and, that boisterous, like that bravado, it's quiet, because you do understand that you're better showing the process, or showing your confidence through the process, eating your meals, training on time, drinking your water, or at least your limit of water, depending on how far along you are with prep and all the specific things that you're gonna have to switch around, the supplements and all that. Like being as sharp as a knife, being confident comes from knowing that you did all of that and you did it 101% at the very fucking least. On average, 110%. Like you're going all the way in, right? You're not missing anything. You're not missing cardio. You're not missing sauna. You're not missing shit, right? So your body's reflecting that. Why? Because if they saw our text messages, they'd be able to see. But you got dick skin going on, bro. The garden hose veins coming out, super tight skin. The conditioning is better than it's ever been in your life. You're down how many pounds since we met? I don't even remember. But you know what I mean? Go on. Pardon? Around 25 pounds, right? And you're still fucking, retaining muscle, if not gaining it a little bit. The conditioning is just fucked. Your legs are looking crazy. And honestly, I'm saying this now, but this is your first and last men's physique competition, because this is an insult not to show those quads. And I'm really being able to, I'm seeing the full, like what you're doing, like your whole entire, you've surprised me. I was just thinking, okay, he's going to be good for men's physique. We're just going to get him to do his first show. He's going to see if he likes it or not. But now as we're going along this, I'm like, you know what, you could do more than men's physique, and we can really take this somewhere else if you want to get back on the stage again. And if this is a process you enjoy, and just off the looks of it, and by talking to you, comparing it at the start and now, this version of you at the start was much more of a coward than the guy you are right now. And I'm not saying that to insult you, but I'm telling you, it's like true. Like you are more integral. You're like sharper. You're like early, if anything. You know what I mean? Like you are just fucking on right now. And I've never seen you like this before because you've never been in this sort of pattern. But once you get this, go through your prep, you get whatever you get on stage, this knowledge stays with you. This experience stays with you. Right. And so if you're listening to this, you're afraid of, going on stage for the first time, the worst and the best parts stay with you forever, and the rest of your life will get better because you put yourself through this thing. Not because it's bodybuilding, but because it's a challenge and you finished what you fucking started. And if you have the ability to do that, like you're just going to succeed in whatever it is that you're going to do if you do that in whatever it is that you're going to do, right? So I really like that. I really like that answer you had there, bro. I want to ask you personally, how do you overcome the fears that you do have with the people that may have more resources or bigger social media following, whatever the deal might be, whatever might intimidate you? How do you overcome that intimidation?
I love a good underdog story, bro.
Fuck yeah.
I think everyone does, right? So I just tell myself that, you know what, instead of the what if on the bads, what if could happen on the fucking good? What if I do end up surviving? What if I do end up winning? What if I do end up, blowing up and this becomes a huge opportunity? Like, instead of all the what ifs on the negatives, just think about the what ifs on the positives. And that gives me fucking goosebumps because it's like, honestly, truly, what if? Like,
yeah.
And bodybuilding, Chris Bumstead, some fucking small town kid from Canada, Ottawa, man. Like, look at him now. One of the biggest names in the industry. Where did he start? The exact same stage probably you started. I'm gonna step on.
Yeah, he was with the OPA and CPA, and he turned pro when it was OPA. But yeah.
Not even bodybuilding, is not even watching just life in general. If you're afraid to do something or take on a new task or goal, just think, what if this actually works out? What if I actually become better than I started? Which happens, and it does happen, right? You put in the work and you get it. So, like, one of my favorite quotes from Denzel Washington was like, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. If you have it too easy, you're not gonna fulfill it. The harder you have it, the better it is at the end. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship.
I agree 100% with that. I 100% agree. And whether or not I want to, the results agree, because even if I reflect back on my competitive past, the easiest times for me to prep, I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't win an overall, or I didn't get the pro card. The hardest times, which was basically throughout COVID, having to fucking hide in the washroom in between those 2 30-minute breaks or whatever, when there were the COVID app for Good Life, right? So yeah, that thing. And I was training through that. I had to drive really far. I was driving, like, I guess almost over 100 kilometers a day just to train, right? If I wasn't able to go to the Good Life when that was closed, because it would be open and closed and all that. But that whole entire period of time training for that nationals was the hardest fucking time to train. Like it went from having that gym 10 minutes away from home and just doing my cardio thing at home, and then also going to the gym in 10 minutes, to okay, cardio thing at home and 50 kilometers any direction just to go to a gym, right? And I'd have to book and all this nonsense. It was just tough. It was difficult. It was fucking annoying, worse than before. And only then, at the end of that prep, did I get my pro card. So it's very fucking weird how that shit works. When it's easy, it's, you know, you'll make progress, you'll get closer to it, but it won't be like, you won't break ice. But when it's hard as fuck and you don't miss when it's hard and you show up, anything's possible, literally. So I love that quote that you said there by Denzel Washington. I'm not gonna remember it, but that definitely meant a lot to me. I kind of fucking got goosebumps. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. All right, bro. So let's break it down. Okay, let's break it down here. Get a little bit simplistic for those that are listening to the Meathead on the Mic for the first time. What are some of the biggest changes in nutrition, you know, training, supplementation, that you've had since we've started working together, and before, when you were just on your own and just winging it?
So before, nutrition was eating food because it tastes good. Okay. Nutrition afterwards. Food is fuel. You eat for a purpose. Now that doesn't mean it has to taste like shit. You do have to make certain choices where it needs to benefit you. So before, it's like, you know, I could have a burger. Yeah, there's protein in the burger. Right? It's beef. Okay, cool. It tastes better. Now it's like, I'm going to choose ground beef. I get the same amount of protein, but I get less fat and more nutrients. So it serves a purpose for me now. So you got to look at food as beef. Before you started, you just eat it because it tastes good. And you're just hitting protein. That's all people care about, protein. Now you need to look at the nutrients and how this is actually going to support you. So the food and nutrition needs to serve a purpose to you now. If it doesn't serve a purpose, even if it tastes good, I won't have it. Right? Like what's like in that video where I crushed up an ice cream bar. What is that going to do for me? Nothing.
Well, maybe it could also serve as like a quick carb source, because, you know, simple sugars and things like that. But you're not going to rely on that. That's not something that you're going to have every day. But I get what you're saying. I get the philosophy.
Like the average person, right? Like, I mean, working with a coach like you, like that's where you get down to the science behind certain things. But like in general, like that's not going to do anything for me. I would rather have something like maybe a protein treat where it tastes just as good, but then have more nutritional value to it, right? Not just sugar.
So one thing I want to interject on, which is, and this is, so it's accurate for us, but for others it might not be. For sugar, like sugar is a carb, and carb is like a macro. But carb is a macro, protein is a macro, so they're alike in that sense. I wouldn't say, you know, carbs are better than protein at all, but carbs do definitely serve a purpose, especially like for giving you that look that you need on stage. Yes, there are way better carb sources than the ones that are basically high sugar, that crap basically. And you are pretty much used to eating mainly those things. And one thing I want to say is that, you know, if you are new to this, you don't have to be so extremist to cut that out completely, but you can use that piece of shit sugar to, you know, in a way where, you know, it fits in calorically, and you're benefiting through the, I guess, through the insulin spiking of having the carbohydrate as a pre-workout. However, you know, if you want to make that commitment to be a bodybuilder, the ability to turn away food that you know you're not supposed to eat, that, you know, basically is on the lower end for nutritional value, like your ability to turn away foods that you originally like that are pretty crap for you, and stay away from those foods, like your whole entire ability as a bodybuilder is kind of contingent upon that. Because if you don't have that level of self-discipline, you cannot do it. And I think Anthony here is a great example, because before he would eat, like, as you said, like pretty much whatever would just taste good. But I didn't even tell him. I just showed him that he had to be sharp with this nutrition protocol and don't deviate. And over time, he realized, you know what the fuck? All that shit was too sweet. You know what? You know, it is better to eat this way. I do feel better. My body is better. I train better. I rest better. All this, you know, and then it's like a domino effect of like positive, I guess, features that you're somewhat acquiring through your nutrition. And when you notice that happen to you, and like you're training better, you're sleeping better, you're thinking better, more clearly, it becomes very stupid to even want to have that sugary thing, which I can see you're repulsed by it. When you talk about it, you're like, fuck this shit. Like I can see, yeah, because, you know, you've seen the change, right? And this discipline, even when we get back in your off season, will stay with you. So you will be able to, definitely capitalize on where you are with the muscle and maintain the nutritional habits throughout it, right? Without being too extreme. Because again, there are times where we have factored in high calorie days, high carb days, high sodium days to encompass the depletion. We'll have something similar along the line later on, after this show, where you can still like dive into that if you want, but it's not necessary. And you seem to have, discipline that really doesn't want to fucking, even look or smell any of that shit. So that's awesome. But yeah, man, let's look at this here. Be honest with me. Be 100% honest with me. So we talked about the training or the nutrition. Let's talk about the training section, or at least what's chained with training. What differences do you feel in, since I guess training as an amateur away from me and training with me, since the time we've worked together, what are some differences you've noticed with the training?
So before you, I would just train for pumps. They would just be pump workouts.
Like, what does that mean? What's a pump workout? Explain to somebody that doesn't know.
So it's just like you want to lift a weight and feel the muscle get big and you feel full, right? You just want to lift heavy, like bicep curls, bench press, basics, right? Like we call it the bro split in the gym industry. It's just like you just want to look like a typical guy, like big chest, big arms. That's it, right? Like, you know what I mean? And you repeat the same thing over and over. There's no variation. There's no real stress. There's no real exertion. It's almost like you're comfortable, but you just do it because it feels good, because it fills the muscle of the blood, and you just get a good pump. You just look good, right? After training with you, I think it was the first week, man, I sent you that message, and I was like, people think they're intense until they're intense, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so it's like the training became supersets, right? It became a lot more structured. It became more purposeful. You're actually targeting specific muscle groups, not just the overall, like, one big movement to feel good. Like, the training became a lot more disciplined and scientific, to the point where you don't just look like a big guy who has muscles. You actually have shape, symmetry, and definition to your physique. Like, you have a physique now. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're showing off the skeletal muscle of the human anatomy. Like, the bicep is just not a thing that sits on your arm. Okay, the bicep has different parts to it. Now you can see that by training all three different parts. So for someone who's just watching, doesn't know anything about muscle groups or anything like that. It's training is very specific to the way you want to look.
Exactly. Well said, bro. And I'm glad to see that you've had that sort of revelation, training with me, training without me as your coach, because that's one thing that I know a lot of people think they can sort of pass by simply because, well, I'm lifting weights, right? I'm getting bigger, I'm getting stronger. But there is a way to do it in bodybuilding if you really want to be successful in the sport. And what's that way? It's applying severe attention to detail. So, as you said, knowing that there are different heads of the bicep, knowing that there are different heads of the delt, and that you can isolate and target those muscle groups, and the same information would pertain throughout the rest of your body, like your quads, your hamstrings, glutes, and to build a physique, as you said, like that is a skill. It's not just about how much weight I can put up, or how big I think I look, but it's about how symmetrical I look as well. And symmetry is one thing that is often ignored amongst just regular people that train, because they go there for a feeling and less for an outcome, compared to bodybuilders or powerlifters or anybody that's there for the outcome as an athlete. I'm talking about the average gym goer that just goes to the gym to change their body. They go there, they want to change it, but they don't really have a method or a plan to do that. They just have like a feeling, and a feeling won't bring you to where you need to go, right? So you've got to have a plan. Given you've been executing, that's why we're once real points are now balancing out, and everything's really, really good, man. Like, I love the way that you've been able to apply and the training across the board, and how it's been able to affect you, not just on the physical level, but mentally as well. It's really fucking impressive, actually, because I remember that message you gave me. If you want to share with these people, I know it's a little bit vulnerable, but that message you sent me when you were talking about suicide previously.
Yeah, when I said I forgot what I said, but I remember saying something to you like, thanks for believing me when you're seeing that I had potential to actually do this, because after there's it doesn't even matter if it's what you do for a living. I know everyone has trauma, everyone goes through something, right? Just living life in general, man. Everyone's been through something. Everyone has a story, right? point, we're all gonna face depression. I don't care how good you think you are, how rich you are, how successful you are, how happy you are. At some point, that shit's gonna hit you, man, and you're not gonna be ready for it. So there has to be something you need to do in order to get yourself out of that pit, right? Like what people always say is like it doesn't matter what happens to you, what matters is how you react to it. So at some point, pretty much when I was at my lowest point, the only thing that made me feel good was going to the gym because it made me look better and feel better. And by doing that, as simply put as it is, if you start to like the way you look and you start to love yourself a little bit more, you're going to get happier no matter what's going on in your life. If you really think about it, like you can be broke. That's just some of the most poorest people in the world. If they're happy with themselves, they're going to be happy even though they're broke, right? So the richest people, they might not be happy with themselves, but they have everything that other people think they want, right? So when I started working out and started seeing the changes in myself, I started feeling better. All that shit around me didn't matter anymore, man. Like policing didn't even matter to me anymore. It was more so just me focusing on myself, taking care of myself first.
I noticed that, man. I noticed. That's wicked. 'Cause that wasn't really impactful as a coach. Like on the other end, like I know, no, it's for the people listening. It's like, oh, Anthony gets to compete, and this is wicked and all that. But as a coach, I'm just gonna dive in on my perspective. I'm super fucking grateful. I don't think you understand how grateful I am to have you as an athlete because to see this change in a person is it's just fucking amazing. And to know that I'm a part of this change, it really does make me feel just as good as you do, bro. And like if not probably a little more. And I'm super, super grateful that you've been able to have this revelation and that you trusted me to bring you to this, to help you at least get to this point, because there were things that you had in place that you were already doing. I just changed them. Right. So this work is yours. The credit is yours, and the honor is completely fucking mine, dude. Like I'm really grateful to have you here. I don't think you know it, but you'll see it, and I'll show it to you over the next couple of days, especially when we're backstage and all that shit. So it's gonna be a fucking blast. Let's break it down here, man. Let's be honest with me. You can be a douchebag. You're allowed to if you want. This is the Meathead on the Mic podcast. How has your self perception changed when you look in the mirror? Like when you look in the mirror now, because I know you're taking a fuck ton of selfies that you wouldn't take before. I don't even have to ask you for check-in photos anymore. This guy is just vomiting them out to me and putting them on the story. Always in the camera, just fucking showing the Christmas tree. Tell me, how's your self-perception changed when you look in the mirror from before you started working with me and during this point in time, a couple of days out?
Listen, when you put in the work, I don't even care if people cocky. When you put in the work and you start to see the results, I don't give a shit, man. I'm showing that and I feel good about it, right? It's because you feel 10 times better, man, seeing like all that hard work pay off. It's like these people that work, everyone goes to work, right? You work a 40-hour work week. How good do you feel when that fucking paycheck comes in, right? You feel good. You earned that money, right? That's money. That's right now. That's money on my body. That's my bank. I deposited and deposited. Now I'm looking at my totals.
Yeah.
So,
I love that you said that. That's fucking sick. I love the way you said that because it's like, they say health is wealth, right? So this is like a visual manifestation of that in a sense. Your body's looking rich as fuck. That's cool, man. I like that. This guy's been stacking his wins.
I'm gonna buy your Lambo, right?
This guy's a douchebag. This guy's a douche.
I'm showing it.
Yo.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, man. I'm still humble. I'm super grateful, and I understand that, like, we're not better than anyone else. We just may have a little bit more muscle. But again,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's just work for it, right? That's like you put in the work and you earned it. And that's the thing about bodybuilding, right? Nothing is given. You literally can't earn your way through this sport, man. It's earned, right? And even for you as a coach too, I'm grateful to have you as a coach because the one thing that separated you from everyone else that, like, you look around, people offering personal training, coaching, all this bullshit, right? A lot of them just want to take your money, man. Fuck off. That's all they care about. You remember, you called me, bro. You called me on the phone without even knowing me that well and said, listen, why do you want to do this? Why? Like, nothing about you. It's like, why do you want to do this? And why do you think I can help you? And that was the difference that really, really made me choose you over, like, just taking some Joe's schmo coach over time is because you actually, like, were less about my reasoning. Because some people, you ask them that on the spot, like, why do you want to do this? And they stumble, they fumble with their answer. They don't even know. And I knew you were gonna. I didn't know, you would have been like, you know what, figure it out and come back to me again in a few weeks if you're still interested. So that's the difference between a good coach like you yourself and someone who's just like offering training or
I love the way you said that, man, and that's how it is with competition. And for anybody listening, anybody that does want me as their head coach, IFBB Pro Matt Butale in the Natural Nomad Academy, and you want me to like help you compete, listen to what the fuck Anthony just said. Because when it comes to competition, I don't waste my time because there's no time to waste, because those people that I'm working with are gonna compete and they're going to do what I need them to do in order for them to do well, right? They don't bitch and moan, they don't complain, they're not wishy-washy, and you will have to get vetted differently if you want to compete. If you just want to join and lose some weight, that's cool. I can definitely help you. But if you want to compete, it's not a pretty sight. And the level of commitment that you've heard me sort of talk about here with Anthony is like, we're not even skimming the surface of what it's actually been like in depth. Imagine doing 7 hours of cardio a week or 14 hours of cardio a week, right? While being in a calorie deficit, while also holding back on water intake down to a fucking liter, while having to be sharp with the supplements and also with sauna time, finding time to rest, finding time to work, finding time to eat, and he's got to be sharp to the gram even though he's hungry. And like, there's so many things that we haven't really talked about in this episode that do exist that are fucking extreme if you want to be good at this shit. And Anthony's definitely a product of the production, the proof in the pudding. But I want you to remember that if you do want to reach out for coaching and you say, I want to do this naturally, I want to have a natural IFBB Pro help me get to the stage, the national stage, whatever stage, understand that if you are not fucking serious and if you are not ready to go that second, do not message me. Do not reach out. Okay? Because this is something that requires not just a lot of my time and energy, it requires my passion, because I give a fuck about this. I give a fuck about you, Anthony. I really do wish that you win, and we're going to see what the fuck happens, whatever it happens. But even after that stage, because this is a fucking sport of growing, literally, you're growing muscle, I'm going to be there. I'm going to help you with whatever knowledge that I've acquired and that I continue to acquire to get to the next level. And that requires not just like a client to, coach a relationship, but I believe it's something deeper than that, because you're going to have to be able to be on the fly. Like, there are times where it's like, bro, did you shit yet? Did you piss yet? Okay, how much do you weigh right now, this second of the day? Okay, don't weigh in until this certain time tomorrow, or don't do, and all these things. Like, it's like, I'm a part of your day, and we're attached through that. And to have that level of attachment and for it to work, because this is all online, you got to be a serious person. So I love the fact that you've got those qualities, Anthony, and I really do love the fact that you explained it sort of really well, actually, as to how we were able to meet up and even get to this point, right? So I've got another question for you that might sort of appeal to the old you, or the people that are starting off with even the idea of competing, which is essentially the old you. And the question is, Anthony, did you ever want to not commit to prep, or did you ever want to quit prep? And if so, when and why?
Committing, I wouldn't say I didn't commit, because I already had like personal reasons as to why I wanted to do this. So I was committed from the start. But quitting at some point, yeah. Like, I'll be honest. Quitting at some point, yeah.
Yeah.
You start to get into like when you talk about like the regimented lifestyle, and it's all or nothing. You can't half-ass any of this shit at all, or else none of it will work. It's all together, right? It's like the way the body works, right? Everything works together. So when it started to get really hard, thinking about quitting, yeah, I did, because it was just like, man, why do I? Like, you're actually literally suffering. You have to suffer to get to a certain point to do this. It's just not physically possible when it comes to competing to not suffer and get what you want. Okay, so when you actually start to suffer, like, no one wants that shit. Like, the human body is trying to protect itself. You're literally fighting against it. Your brain is telling yourself to not do this because it's trying to survive. When you actually have to fight against the physiological effects and say, like, no, listen, this is what needs to be done in order to get a certain way. So yeah, I thought about quitting almost like every day ever since we started cutting water, man. It was hard, bro. Like, I don't know if anybody's watching who actually, like, how long can you last without having water? Like, you get a headache, you get tired right away. So just imagine sweating your ass off doing cardio and working out like a 2-hour weight training session. All you can do is sip, literally sip. I'm restricting myself from drinking. Like, I can't just take a gulp. Like, that shit's measured. Like, I have to sip. And
So, and that's one thing, and I know I touched upon it before. Thanks for sharing that, Anthony. He's in the basement of hell, under that basement, in like a prison, locked in a corner. The pit is real. When the pit is sort of like when you get down to this point of depletion where basic motor functions are just difficult. Walking, talking, thinking, even blinking, he was pretty much in and out of sleep right before I got him on the episode here, and that's completely normal for being this close to the show because he's pretty much 1 week out. And to be this close to the show is honestly showing how much of the hole that he's in and how hard he's worked and how much we've actually depleted. And believe me, the skin on his physique reflects it as he poses. You guys can see as well because he posts as well on social media, which we'll talk about in a short moment here. But it's really, really interesting to hear, that you wanted to quit, because I know that when I wanted to do this, or that when I was doing this, and even when I do continue to prep, I always want to fucking quit. It's like everybody wants to fucking quit. This shit is not easy, even for me, right? And if you are wanting to compete for the first time, you have to come to terms with that. This is the hardest thing you're gonna fucking do if you've never done anything hard. If you've done anything, like I've done wrestling in the past, wrestling's hard, man. You can't breathe and you got to cut down and then fight somebody. Any combat sport, I'll cut you slack. If you've done that, definitely you can probably do bodybuilding super easily if you've cut down before. But if you've never, ever, ever done a sport, or you've done a sport that's like a team sport, I don't give a fuck if it's basketball, soccer, football, even. Yeah, I'll go that far because I played that too. You probably won't be ready to do bodybuilding to the best degree. All right. Just make sure that you're able to commit to doing something that you've never done that is going to be harder than everything you've ever done. Like, that's a part of this. Like, Anthony is not overestimating or selling this shit because he's literally legs up on the couch, if not taking days off of work, and only focusing on training, eating, sleeping, water, shitting, if he can even shit, or if he can even piss at this point, right? So we're really getting everything out. When I say everything, it's the water, it's the fat, and we're doing everything we can do to preserve the amount of muscle. And then we're, of course, going to carb him up, get him nice and full for the show. And it's going to be a fucking spectacle. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because I can't wait to see him on stage. I feel like, the Dr. Frankenstein guy, I feel like, you're my Frankenstein. I'm like, this is cool. I get to see how this is all going to play out. This experiment's fucking wicked. And it's the first time, which is super special. Super special. Pause. All right. So let's break it down here. Anthony, I want you to give these people some words of confidence. What would you recommend to somebody that is, we'll say, looking to compete for the very first time? What would you say to them? What would you recommend to somebody that is looking to compete for the very first time?
I would honestly say go for it. You should just do it. Like, set a plan, know your time frame, get the knowledge and professional help that you need, and just do it. Because I'll tell you right now, and I kept saying this in my own posts and stuff like that on social media, that the process in itself makes you so much better. This sport in general just makes you an overall better person in terms of your character. So imagine everything else that you do outside of this, it's a joke. It's nothing based. Your body, but you're hurting that mind, right? We're not just building bodies out here, you're building character. So it just makes you that 10 times much better of a person overall. And that's not even me just trying to sell this shit. That's just facts. Like, I can't even explain to you like the amount of mental strength I've gained. Not only that, but also it brings such a level of gratitude to just being able to live. You know what I mean? And just having resources and things like what I thought about 2 days ago was that there's people in third world countries that actually don't even have access to that much water. Okay, because like we said, the biggest thing that hit me was like decreasing this water intake. And it's just like I feel like I'm dying because like I can have fluids, and fluids are everything in the body. You can survive without fluid, but you can't survive without fluids. So just depleting this much to get as shredded as we are now, it would really hurt. So imagine these people who don't even have water to drink. Like, that's crazy. That's their life. Okay, this is a choice that I'm doing right now, but that's their life. So you just become so grateful for certain things that you have. Me being able to like just have food, access to food and clean water after I'm done this is just a blessing. So become overall a stronger person and you become more grateful for things, and your entire perspective on life for every little thing changes. So if you're thinking about competing for the first time, do it. It's going to be worth it. It will be worth it throughout the process. Not only will you actually probably become, and actually factually, if you put in the work, will get into the best shape of your life. You'll look better. You'll feel better. You'll have so much more confidence. You'll walk and talk in a certain level of way. You won't tolerate bullshit or anything less than what you know you deserve because of the work you put in. So I don't even associate myself with people that just complain and bitch about small little minor things, because in the grand scheme of things, that's exactly what it is. It's small and minor. And I don't want to hang around with people with negative attitudes. I don't want to hang around with depressed people. If you are depressed, find help, reach out to it, don't ignore it. But at the same time, you can't just let that shit hit you down and keep you there. You gotta fight a way back. And if there's people that who just feel like giving up, you know what I mean? Like, I can't be around that anymore, because you just gotta become better. Like, you just don't wanna hang around anything less than what you know you deserve. And you only know you deserve this is when you actually work for it. So probably competing for the first time would probably be the best thing I would recommend anyone who's actually been in the gym for a while to actually try and step it up to another level. Because like I mentioned before, there's a difference between a gym goer and actually athlete.
Exactly. I hear you, bro. Oh, that was well said. That was a way to put it up in a motherfucking nutshell. I like the way that you worded that, bro. I really, really, really do. Guys, girls, even, I hope that you were paying attention to that, because we also do have another girl that will be competing in about 30 days, or 38 days, almost 40 days. And she's going through something similar to this as well. So guys and girls, pay attention to what Anthony said. Everything he just dropped is fucking facts. This is the process. Y'all caught him smack dab at the pinnacle of when it gets hard during competition, and he's done all of his homework. So he's giving you the authentic, like, actual first take. And maybe years from now, fucking 20 years from now, we're going to go back and listen to this podcast episode just between us, Anthony, and like hear your first experience. And it might be show number 10, like down then, or whatever it is, or you turn pro or whatever. And this is always going to exist. And this is going to be that testament to those of you that are listening and wanting to compete for the first time. Okay, so take this in, take this seriously. This is the episode you need to listen to through and through, throughout your whole workout, even, because it's about 45 minutes. But this will give you the answers to your questions that I know you have because you want to compete. All right. So with that said, thank you so much, Anthony, for your time. Where do we fucking find you? Like, are you on social media? Where do we find you if anyone wants to figure out your journey?
Yeah. So my Instagram is AG_GANGFIT. So that's AG_GangFit. You guys can follow me, hit me up if you have any questions or just want to ask me about my experience. Because again, like I said, I'm just doing it because to represent for just the average person. The average person that just wanted to make a choice. Commit, don't look back, and
yep, and finish what the fuck you started. Yeah. There we go, local voice. You know what's up. I love that, man. That's wicked. All right, people. So that's AG_GangFit. So it's AG_GangFit on Instagram if you want to check him out and if you want to see his journey. He's documenting it. He's there talking about the process. And if you also want to be following, in real time and see when he wins or how he places in the show, you can definitely tune into that on his page and on mine. So that's it. That's all. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed today's episode. Hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. On behalf of Anthony, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you for listening. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB Pro and Anthony Gang Fit signing out. Boom. All right, podcast episode's recorded. We can hang on the air for a little bit if you've got time, Anthony. Only if you've got time. If you're tired, if you want to sleep, let me know. We're going to wrap it up. Just to talk to some of the people here that are, that have tuned in. I want to give them a little bit of time and answer some questions or read some of the comments. Yo, Jacob, what's up? He's like, yeah, very, very true. Only one way to learn: step on stage. That's true. Richmond Mills says pin it. What do you want me to pin, bro? Which comment? Which comment, bro? And guys, if you have any questions for Anthony, ask them. If you have any questions for me, ask them. All right. We're here for a little bit. I'll stick around for another 5 minutes. I'll commit to that. If you've got questions for the next 5 minutes, we'll answer them. Yo, Numan Ali says, Yo, Aki, what's good? Gangafit. Robin, what's up? Seen the live, quickly clicked on. Anthony, your client. Yes, Anthony's my client. We're working together. Matt No Man says, Matt, sort out the audio on YouTube this time. LOL. I think it's good now. It's like still live there anyway. Gabriel, what's good? What is up? I see. Shout out to everybody that joined. I'm not going to read everyone's name because that's quite a bit. But if you read a comment or if you dropped a comment, I will read it. So next time you know to drop a comment. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss out much. No, you didn't. If you're still here. Let's see here. Anthony's going to be going mental in the gym. He's going mental already. You check his page out for real. You'll be able to see it. Robin says, Anthony and Schwartz flex for the live brothers. Let him rest. You'll feel flex on stage shortly for you. Hulk mode. Let's fucking go. Realist live I've seen in a while. Dope. I love it, bro. I love it. Numan Ali says, mindset is everything, and Matt is so humble, man. It's the reason why I tune into these podcasts. I appreciate you, bro. Don't forget, Anthony is being vulnerable and sharing with us as well. So again, you guys will be seeing more of him in the future as we go through a competition and rebounding phase and all that stuff. Kunchi says, let's go. I appreciate you for tuning in. Greta Leia says, what an honor it is to know you personally, Anthony. So this person knows you personally, I think. Is it? Gretel?
What's the name of it?
Greteleys. Yeah, okay. So she's shouting you out there. That's cool. Rome is like, Matt, what's good? Yo, what's up, Rome? You know what time it is. He's like, yeah, he's cool. And I was messaging you during the episode. Come train. We got to train. Got to get that on tape. The last tape we have is like years old, man. Joe, what's good? Happy Friday. Which shows your yeah, he's doing Pure Muscle. Pure Muscle. Is that an open? That's an open show. It's not a natty show. It's an open show. It's they're doing it for the first time. It's an open show. Next year. Okay, Painted Legends. Love you guys. Appreciate you, Gretel. Thank you so much. Which division? Men's physique. But this is his very last men's physique. I'm pretty sure. There's no way. You have to check his quads, Rome. Check him out. Aaliyah says, Big Bro Anthony's gonna kill it. Mark my words, he's gonna do that. He's left no stone unturned. Matt, you competing this year? Yep, I'll be competing this year at the end though. So my shit's not worth talking about at this point in time because we're so far away from it. AG gang, let's go. AG going straight to Taz after the show. Let's go. Yeah, man.
That's another local boy, bro.
Yeah, locals. He's right beside the Crunch, eh? Yeah.
He's a local boy who grew up his business, man. Very successful now with franchise.
Right on. All right, people. That seems to be it. There are no questions. If there are any questions, I'm hanging out for 2 minutes with Anthony. You got till 2 p.m. EST. If you got any questions, drop them regarding competition or anything that is regarding fitness, and then we'll fly off. But this episode was fucking dope. I really liked it, man. How do you feel about it, Anthony?
I really liked it too. It's just sometimes the best kind of conversations are the ones that are off the fly, right? Just speak your mind because
yeah,
a lot of script stuff and it doesn't become authentic or genuine, right? Like we're just talking about our experiences and feelings.
Yeah.
Just needs to get their ass in the gym, bro. I can't. It make every aspect of your life that much better. I'll tell you right now, bro. If I didn't have the fucking gym, I'd be dead by now. You know what I mean? I'd be sitting in my fucking police cruiser going through depression, just fucking with that gun on my hip, ready to unload at any time. Like there was nothing else holding me back. There was literally nothing else holding me back. What was I happy for? Other than my parents, you know what I mean? Like thinking about how they would find me or hear the news. There was literally nothing else I was like happy about my life. Nothing. So you can only imagine, like, it doesn't have to be the gym. Just people out there, man. Just find something that brings you some form of happiness that no man or woman can take from you. Well, even if that's religion and you're spiritual, which I'm religious too as well, that there's something you need to find that no man or human can take from you. It's as simple as that, because there's going to be people out here that always try to take shit away from you, right? If you don't even realize it, look around. Look what the government's doing to every hardworking citizen right now. Literally rinsing our pockets with taxes and screwing our healthcare systems and justice systems. Like, they're always going to be taken from you. So you need to find something that no one can take from you. For us, it's bodybuilding. You earn that with hard work and sweat, blood, tears, motion. Build the physique. Who's going to touch that? No one. Right?
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. That's well said, bro. And how does it feel to like be in a different perspective? Like, I guess I should ask this on the episode, but I'm gonna ask you this definitely after you compete because it'll be solidified and cemented after you compete. But how does it feel, sort of being on the other fence of like motivation and inspiration, from being the guy that has to be motivated to being the guy who now motivates others by just like being who you are? Like your physique alone speaks volumes, right? And then once you do that show and you've already done it, you're a legitimate competitor. You know, like you have the record; it's on the record. So, like, how does it feel to like be the inspiration?
Bro, it feels really good, man. It's like it's just leveling up. That's what it feels like, just leveling it up, and I'm just honored to actually, have people that pay attention and that are inspired by it. Fuck you with the water, bro. I can't even laugh, bro, because my fucking lips start to crack. Like if I smell too much.
Sorry, I'm being an asshole. I'm gonna... oh man.
Yeah, it just feels good, man. I'm actually honored that people actually pay attention because, like I said, I'm just a regular kid, man. The kid from the same place everyone else did it. If they're actually motivated or inspired by me, that's a big bonus. And like, if there's anything I want to leave behind in this world, bro, is just that, like, someone remembered me for something and said, like, you know what, I remember that guy did that, or that guy made me join the gym, or that guy,
Mm,
just one person, and then your life is worth it, right? That's why they always say, like, giving back is always the best form of, like, the highest form of a human act, giving back to other people in some way, because that's all that's going to people going to remember, right? People won't always remember what you said or did, but they remember how you made them feel, bro. So hopefully this podcast makes some people and lights up a fire up, but they're asked to do something so they can remember it. They won't know what we said and talked about for 45 minutes, but they'll remember that, yo, episode, like, yo, this guy was fucking no water. Like, I need to, like, yo, what am I doing? I need to get in the gym. Like, so,
yeah, it opens that perspective up completely for them to see. Hmm. No, I like that, man. That's wicked, bro. That's sick, and I can't wait until you go through with the show. Until we, you look like I get to look at you with a tan on, see the posing, the whole stage presence, the pictures, like just to see the product, man. I'm fucking excited. How do you feel about that? Are you excited?
yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to step on stage, hit a few poses,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
flexing on them, right? Flexing on them.
There we go. You get permission to be a douchebag.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
rush it.
Yo, that's sick, man.
Yeah, man. It does take a lot out of you, so it's like you can't do this consecutively. So it's
Oh no.
just like, I just want to enjoy the moment. And that moment on stage under the lights, man, it's be a little famous for, what is it, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of my routine. And
Yeah, but it's good because then you'll have your pictures, and then you can just post those pictures, and they'll be the legit ones. That's hey, I'm a certified competitor. So that's when that change will happen. I'm telling you, once you post those couple few pictures, that you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Because I already know you'll see what I'm talking about. We'll talk in private about it for sure. Yeah, well, that's more of a you thing. You can analyze that, but they can't see your card, right? So it's like once you do it, once you get the pictures and you see how nice you looked on that day and everything, I'm just once you upload them. I'm just telling you now. We'll have this conversation again in private. Remember that we talked about this because this is gonna come up again. All right, so guys, girls, it seems to be that there are no more questions, and we're pretty much cool off the episode for today. We're gonna be having Anthony come on definitely after his show again. So don't if you're watching this earlier on and you left, don't feel too bad. He's definitely gonna be on again. This is not gonna be a rarity. I really do like having you on as a guest. So that's it.
Filled with water, bro. Got some energy, so I can,
Definitely, that's going to be something. They're going to actually get to see you. Before we go, I've got to do this again. Look at this nice full liter. I gotta fuck with you, man. I gotta give you some nightmares. You gotta extra reps, man. Extra reps, right? So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all. I've had a blast here. Anthony had a blast. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed today's episode. We'll be back again in the coming days as Anthony competes. Hope you guys have a wicked day. Anthony, anything you also want to say before we hop out?
Shout out to everyone who tuned in and actually paid attention. On the next podcast, we'll see you guys out, and we'll definitely do this again. Stay motivated, stay inspired, man. We got this. We all got this. We're all gonna make it. Peace.
We're all gonna make it. Peace. All right.